Here's how I avoid decision fatigue, blood sugar crashes, and brain fog. Hi, I'm Dr. Lexi Watson, and I help busy professionals and parents like you get your mental clarity and energy back, starting with food. I used to rely on ADHD medicines to focus myself, but now I rely on what's on my plate. Food gives your brain and body the building blocks to make energy, but it also sends your body and brain signals to be healthy and function the way we were designed, or to break down and go haywire. I've talked a lot about how food affects your brain in these videos right here. So if you haven't watched those yet, be sure to hop over and watch those next. Long story short though, what you eat has an immense impact on how your brain functions at the cellular level. From the way your brain cells are built to how your neurotransmitters are made and communicate to everything in between. And while that might seem overwhelming, the good news is you don't need to be perfect with this, but you do need a system that works with your life and your brain. That's why my husband and I prefer to prepare all of our meals at the beginning of the week. This is called meal prepping, and it has saved us and many of my clients extra stress, headache, and time. Having prepared food also helps us provide our bodies and brains with fuel when it needs it, helps us avoid the afternoon crashes, takes the guesswork out of what to eat, making mealtime much less stressful, and it lets us enjoy our food and family time more. And while at our home, we prepare all of our food all at one time and then portion it into individual containers for a quick grab and go. That may not work for you. Maybe you'd prefer to cook or even just cut up different components to then cook fresh when it's time to eat. Or maybe you'd like to meal prep for 3 to 4 days instead of 6. There are lots of ways to incorporate meal prepping to help you out during the week. Just experiment to see what works best for you. So today we'll be preparing a zuppa toscana soup. Please don't make fun of my pronunciation of that. A pecan honey mustard salmon with a beet and goat cheese salad, and soft boiling some eggs that I can eat with some nuts and berries for a snack. All of these meals have foods that are designed to support the brain at a cellular level, from healthy proteins to lots of great fats to all of the non-starchy vegetables that you could ever want. These are great options to start with. So now that I'm officially hungry, let's start cooking. Okay, so we are going to start with the zuppa toscana soup. I've got my big stock pot here and all of my ingredients laid out. So I'm just gonna go through those real quick and then we'll get started. So we've got some kielbasa. You can also use smoked sausage, Italian sausage. This is 100% grass-fed. If you can find it, go for it. Tastes much better for you. Then this recipe actually does not call for an additional protein, but it didn't have enough protein for my liking. So I'm actually adding some ground turkey to this. We've got our coconut oil as our cooking oil. We've got some onions and garlic, Italian seasoning, red pepper flakes, chicken stock. This recipe actually calls for potatoes, but we are using radishes instead. So those are a delicious alternative to potatoes that's lower on the glycemic index, so it doesn't spike your blood sugar as much, which can then cause inflammation and all the things to your brain. I talk about sugar and insulin and blood sugar spikes in this video right here. Okay, then we have a green of some sort. This recipe actually calls for kale. I found turnip greens at the store this week that looked really good, so we're gonna do that, and then coconut milk as well. And then of course, salt and pepper to taste, but this is all that's going in this soup. So what we're going to do is fry up or brown our sausage and our ground turkey, get those nice and cooked. Then we will add in our onions and garlic and the seasonings, let that kind of crystallize a little bit. Then we'll add in the radishes and the chicken stock, bring it to a boil, and then we will add in the greens and the coconut milk and kind of let everything simmer and all the flavors meld together. I'm excited to get this started. I do want to highlight a couple of things about some of these ingredients. Coconut oil is a beautifully healthy fat. It's really good for cooking, like high heat cooking. So it is my oil of choice for such purposes. Then we've got some really good proteins that help boost the protein content of this dish. So we have those amino acids to build things like neurotransmitters in our brain and all that good stuff. And then all of these vegetables are really good for getting all those different micronutrients that our brains and bodies need, as well as supporting our detoxification systems and things like that. And then the coconut milk is also a really good fat and alternative for dairy intolerant persons. So now that we've kind of gone over everything, let's start actually cooking this. Okay, so now we have the soup simmering. So while that is going on, I'm preheating my oven to 400 degrees for the salmon. We're going to mix up the glaze that goes on, and it's a honey mustard pecan glaze. So what we're gonna do is melt the butter, mix in all the rest of the ingredients, we brush it on the salmon, and then we top it with chopped pecans. Super simple, it goes in the oven, done. Then we're going to pair it with a salad that has roasted beets, goat cheese, and pecans on it. Sometimes I also throw in like some chopped onions or some pickled peppers, but for this week, I'm just gonna go simple. So we're also going to be mixing up the vinaigrette that goes with that. And it has apple cider vinegar, olive oil, a little bit of maple syrup, salt, and pepper. So really all we do to meal prep a salad is to make sure any ingredients are crumbled, such as the goat cheese, or cut up like the beets, and then we mix up our dressing in a mason jar. And I do use these lids, I'll link these in the description below, but these are stainless steel lids, so the acid from the vinegar won't rust out the lid. Okay, so we'll get started. Okay, so now salmon and salad ingredients are prepped. The only thing that I have left to do is to hard soft boil my eggs. So I will get those on the stove, and then I will start portioning out my other two meals. Now for the salad ingredients, I do work a couple of 12-hour shifts at my day job this week. So for those days, I'm going to prep the ingredients to bring with me. Now for the lettuce itself, I usually just cut that, or I'm a little lazy, I tear my lettuce, but I prep my lettuce the morning of, but that's the only thing that I have to prep. I also forgot to mention earlier that all of these recipes that I am showing you today will be linked in the description below. I also have other foods just stocked normally in the refrigerator in case I'm hungrier one day versus the next. So I also have things like avocados, baby carrots, mini cucumbers, cottage cheese, things like that that are super easy to throw together or just take a couple of bites of, that are high in micronutrients, protein and fat dense, and really good for fueling the brain. Okay, so here we are. This is this week's meal prep. So I have the salmon in these bowls, and they go with these salad ingredients. And I will, like I said earlier, I meal prep the salad fresh, like the lettuce fresh that morning. This is the soup, and then these are my eggs. And again, I've got some extras in the fridge ready to go for snacking if I get hungry. And lots of nuts in the pantry and collagen powder for my tea. So all of this took me about 2 hours to cook, but now I don't have to cook for the rest of the week. So I spent 2 hours today, I'm done for the week. Easy peasy. I hope that you enjoyed our meal prep session today. If you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notifications bell so you don't ever miss another video. And if you want some immediate next steps, grab my freebie in the description below on the top foods to avoid for a better brain. I also have a new mini course coming up on how to make any recipe healthy. Yes, I said any recipe. So be sure to get on my email list so you don't miss the drop of that course. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.